For You Chat.
We've been talking about ways to get to a particular destination or location, especially somewhere that's just right there in your own town where you live. How do you find the best way to get there? Well, I'm kind of new to Taipei, not very new. I've been here for a while, but there are still places I've never been before. So what I'll do is I'll look online and kind of check out the neighborhood. There's Google Maps now, which is really convenient. You can type in the address to where you live and then the destination or location where you're going, and it tells you the best route, the best way to get there, whether you want to take public transportation or walk. How do you usually find a new place that you're going to here in the city, Tom?
Well, if I'm driving my fancy SUV, I just use my GPS computer and it just shows me where to turn and where to go and stuff like that.
Doesn't it talk to you too?
I guess it does sometimes, but of course I can't always be driving my vehicle around the city. Sometimes I'm on foot.
Yeah.
So I like to use dependable maps. A lot of women say men shouldn't, well, they should ask directions more often, but I've asked lots of people directions, and people are really bad about giving directions. Sometimes they tell you to go the wrong place. I don't understand what they're saying. The second stoplight, or don't turn at the flashing light. That's all confusing. So I like to depend on a map to get me places.
Well, when you ask for directions, sometimes you don't have a pen and a paper to write them down. And sometimes you just forget what they tell you, right? Sometimes I will double check what someone tells me. So I'll ask for directions, but I'll also check maybe a map, or I have a bus book that tells me where buses stop. I always check that too. So I'll just double check everything. So I don't just trust or rely on one piece of information. I make sure I know exactly where I'm going.
And that's good advice. And of course, doing research ahead of time helps too. If you know where you're going, go online and find that information, and also find some reliable maps too, both online or in a bookstore. I've found some pretty good maps here in Taiwan of Taipei and the rest of Taiwan. Sometimes they're wrong, but for the most part they are correct, and I can get around the place using those maps pretty well.
I think the government has done a very good job of updating the information online too, because I use it more and more to check out the MRT lines. You know, they keep building new lines, so I want to check and see if there's a new stop near that place I'm trying to go to for the first time.
You know, something else I've tried to use is what is called a compass. It's a special little instrument, and it tells you which way is north. That might be useful, but I think that's more useful if you go hiking in the mountains or something like that.
Okay, why don't we go ahead and read through our article one more time and take a last look at our vocabulary.